I'm Brittany Green, I'm mom.
Hi, and I'm Richard, and I'm dad. So how we met, we were in college. I was a sophomore at A&M and Brittany was a freshman. I sat next to Brittany. We talked about a bunch of random stuff. Fast forward a few weeks, here we are dating.
And we got married.
Yeah, funny how that works.
But I think on our first date, took me to Cheddar's, which he later told me he doesn't like Cheddar's.
And
we sat down to eat, and I'm pretty sure what I told him was, I have a test tomorrow, so I'm not doing anything crazy tonight, and I'm adopting kids one day, so if you have a problem with any of that, you can just buy my dinner, and we'll call it good. And he was like, I guess I'm fine with that. And so we were talking about adoption, from our very first date.
Me personally never really thought about adopting when I was younger, but after meeting Brittany and having all the conversations, thought it was a wonderful thing, and so we did it.
When we first started doing the paperwork and all that, they told us this is going to take years. This is, you're probably going to get an older child, all of these things. And we were like, no, that's great. It was just a few months in, they called us and they said, how we said a few years, and we were like, yes, that would be great. And they're like, yeah, it's right now. And then they said, yeah, and, an older child, not so much, he's 16 months. And we were so excited to meet him. And then I think after that, we met him like a couple weeks after, but we got his file, and just first thing you're reading this file, and it was thousands of pages. Eli's start to life was not good, to put it mildly. When we were reading the file and we were talking with his people, his team that were supporting him, we kind of started to get the bigger picture of it. He was born premature, about 8 weeks early, so he's just a little thing. If you can just picture just a little handful, if you've ever seen a premature baby. And it was a fairly normal birth, and he went home with his bio mom and his bio dad, young kids, they weren't married. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, this little baby's in the emergency room. And from what the doctors could tell us and what we saw in the report is he had been slammed down on a surface, something that would give a bit, probably like a mattress, and not just once, more than once, over several days. And bio mom was home alone with him. Bio dad came home, heard the baby crying. He had blue lips, and he started having a seizure. So that's when they took him to the hospital. And when those doctors saw him, and he still is one of the top 5 cases of physical abuse seen at Dallas Children's Medical Center. He had 8 broken bones. It was his femurs, his tibia, his clavicles, and he was so small that they really couldn't do much about a lot of the broken bones. They put him in a long sleeve onesie, and they safety pinned his arms up here so that he wouldn't move them around or make the breaks any worse. And then we met him, and it's quite different. And then what you're reading in the paper, all these awful, horrible things, and you're picturing all this bad stuff. And
yeah, when we meet him, and he's like a perfectly normal small child, crawling around, super happy to play, wants your attention.
And he was so happy.
Just absolutely amazing.
So Eli had what? 7 doctors, 6?
7 doctors.
Oof. He had so many.
3
therapists. No one in our family had ever adopted, so bringing Eli home was a big deal. And but the first night that my parents met him, which they are Mima and Pop, that is their full names. The first night my parents met Eli, and Eli couldn't walk, he crawls right up on my mom's lap and grabs her face and just looked in your eyes. And it was like they'd known each other their whole lives. And to this day, there's just this special bond. My mom and Eli are best friends. And she was one that she was kind of nervous. She had other grandkids. She didn't really know. But now I'll tell you, out of that herd of grandchildren, this is the one. She will roll up in the feed truck and take him just about any day.
I think we always wanted to have a second child, so we decided to go back to Gladney and New Beginnings for round 2.
I learned that Carson came into care for reason to believe by the Department of Neglectful Supervision and reason to believe of drug use in the family home. For this reason, he was placed with a foster mom who was doing her absolute best, but due to her own health concerns, could not continue to care for Carson. And for this reason, they began the journey of looking for an adoption-motivated family. His team was really hoping to identify a family that had flexibility in their day-to-day schedules. They knew from the beginning that Carson was going to have a number of needs whenever it came to doctor's appointments, such as OT, PT, feeding. It was confirmed that Carson was removed from the bottle about 5 months. And this led to kind of difficulties with eating and gagging when trying to eat, and actually turned into some constipation issues and struggles for him.
And he was so small. Like, he was supposed to be 2.5, closer to 3, and he was so tiny. I think that's the first thing I noticed about him, is this poor little kid. He was the smallest thing I'd ever seen. Yeah, happy as can be, though.
Yeah, absolutely happy, just wanted to play, but he was definitely tiny.
So flexibility in a family was super important. They were also hoping to identify a family that had another child in the home that was close to Carson's age. So the department thought, hey, if we bring in a child that's close to his age, maybe he'll begin to kind of mimic some of their behaviors and some of their milestones and naturally just kind of start to catch up. And so for these reasons, I had just the ultimate light bulb moment that the Green family was going to be the perfect fit for Carson. Greens were like, this is for us. We're doing this. We want to meet him. We can't wait.
And then so we finally brought him home in the summer of 24, I think July.
But we did catch on pretty quickly that he was not talking a lot. He had less than 10 words. So we right away, we had all the therapists and all the doctors already, which made the second one a lot easier. And then they're actually talking to you. And it was just absolutely crazy. He started saying please and thank you. And when he said I love you the first time, we both about just had a stroke.
I love you.
So when we first brought Carson home, we were a little nervous because Eli always, he kept telling us he wanted a big sister. And then we bring Carson home and it's like they've known each other their whole life. They're like peanut butter and jelly. And I think the first ever video, they found this little like toy that played music and they danced for like 2 hours straight in the living room.
That's the best thing ever.
It was the funniest thing we'd ever seen. These two kids, it was like their souls knew each other at least their whole life. They'd been best friends, but they just clicked right away.
It's pretty common for a majority of our kids that are in care to not necessarily know how to receive touch in a safe way or how to accept touch in a safe way. But when he would come to give you a hug, he would essentially just kind of lean into your body a little bit. And so the Greens just took it very slowly, a little bit of, kind of trying to introduce him to hugs in a safe way and kind of getting him comfortable. I can remember the day that they called me and said, we got a hug, like Carson gave his first hug in the home today. And it really did help that Eli, who is their son that's already in the home, was very affectionate and did know how to give those hugs and do those things.
Meanwhile, Eli and Mima are running around the house. Carson, you want a hug? Carson, you want a hug?
Yeah,
and
they decided we'll just get him through it. But my mom would follow him around the house because we had told him the whole family, Carson's not really used to being touched. He was by himself. We need to be thoughtful. And they're like, I can do this. Do you want a hug? Do you want a hug? Mima, I'll hug you. I can hug you. Do you want a hug? It's okay if you don't, but I'll give you one. So, you gotta let people help how they want to. And it worked.
For what adoption means to us, it is such an amazing, powerful thing. Just being able to see how far my two boys have come in the few months and years that they've been part of my life is just absolutely amazing.
Adoption for me, I think means finding those kids that everyone's forgotten about, that everyone's kind of just let slide through the cracks. If you just give them a little love, maybe a lot of therapy, and a lot of food, and they'll be just fine. They're kids. Gosh, I bumped my knee and I have to get my heating pad out. These kids go through the worst trauma in the world, and they are just loving and happy and so smart if you just give them a chance. My hopes and dreams for these two boys are pretty simple. God, I hope they're happy. I just hope they live a great life. They get to do what they want. They get to travel or stay home if that's what they want to do. Go to college if they want. Don't go if they want. If they're happy, I could care less,
If I could say anything to Eli and Carson, it would be that the world is theirs and that they can do anything that they want to do and that they can be anything that they want to be, and that they don't only have the support of the Green family to do those things, but they always have the support of Gladney.